Hey guys, today we're going to be covering the 5 reasons not to start a business. It's explained here by the Institute for Business Acquisitions. We also have a blog post with these reasons up on our website at i4ba.com. So let's go ahead and jump in. First of all, a lot of people say, but I thought the I4BA was there to promote entrepreneurship. We absolutely are. That's what we do. We preach it and we practice it. But we are firm believers that the safest, most effective, and overall most profitable path to entrepreneurship is not through a startup venture. Here are the 5 reasons why we feel that way. First, there's no proof that your idea will be successful. You oftentimes hear, maybe on Shark Tank or other venues, proof of concept, proof of concept. When you do a startup from scratch, you don't have any proof that your idea is going to be successful. Now, I don't want to stifle ideas. I'm sure you have a lot of them. We've had a lot of them. I've had a lot of them. They're great, but I want to be clear that some of the best ideas throughout history have proven to not make any money for a variety of reasons. Or a lot of times they didn't make any money initially. It took years and years. Maybe someone else came back along later and perfected the idea and made money off of it. The first person did not. And again, you're going to hear ideas out there. People have something similar that you know is making a fortune for someone else. Again, that's not proof that your version of that idea is actually going to succeed, or at least not at the level where the return is worth the risk, okay? Without a track record of sales and demand for that product or service, that idea that's going to become a product or service, you are absolutely rolling the dice, okay? It is a gamble, especially relative to buying an existing business. The second reason, you have no trained staff. Employees, as a lot of you probably already know, are the most difficult part of any business, whether it's a startup or an existing business. However, that difficulty is amplified when it's a startup because your staff's green. They don't have any experience with you, your company, your products, your services, because prior to your startup, that company did not exist. So it's almost impossible for them to have any experience, especially with you as an owner and the company vision. And if it's a brand new product or service that's never been out there before, everybody's kind of learning. That does make it difficult. When you buy an existing company, you're acquiring that staff. They're already familiar with the product, services, the customers, and everything in between. Let's be clear here. Even with an existing company, you will have trouble with staff from time to time. But at least you bypass that steep and often very painful learning curve that comes from staffing up with a startup. The third reason, there's no processes or procedures in place. In a startup, you may have it all figured out in your head. I've been there. But transferring that to reality is difficult without stringent processes and procedures, which really goes back into employees a little bit too. You may know how to do everything yourself and have this vision. Now you're bringing on staff and they have no idea what your vision is. As an entrepreneur, it's hard to stop. You want to build, you want to keep growing. It's hard to stop and actually lay all that down in paper and in writing. And when you buy an existing company, a lot of those things are already in place for you. Number 4, you have no customers. All right. For the most part, when you dive into a startup, you are at ground zero. You don't have any customers, which means, of course, you don't have any sales. Now, for some of you, this is the fun or the exciting part, okay? I get it. Starting with that first customer, that first dollar, you hang it on the wall. Everything about that can be very exciting. But I got to point out, it's also the very dangerous and expensive part, okay? It's not as easy as the experts out there make it seem to acquire customers and sales with a startup. You'll hear them on Shark Tank and other places say, oh, it cost me $11 to acquire a customer and $7. And it sounds very mathematical and there's these formulas in place and everybody can do it. Not the case. They don't talk as much about the people that spent a couple $100s for prospects that never turned into customers at all. They're out there because, again, it's a startup. You don't know for sure what it's going to take to acquire customers. One thing you do know is you're starting with none and you have expenses, but you don't have revenue. That takes us to reason number 5. It's probably the biggest drawback to a startup, okay? It is very difficult to get your startup financed. I know you hear about startups getting millions of dollars worth of investment capital, the Ubers and previously the Facebooks of the world. What you don't hear about is what they had to give up in terms of equity, ownership, control of their company in order to get that financing. Nor do you hear about the hundreds of thousands of startups out there who failed to get financed, essentially a failure to launch. They could spend a significant amount of time and probably money of their own to go after that financing with absolutely no guarantee that at the end of that road, they're actually going to come away with the money. Now, banks will essentially not loan money for startups without asking you for significant collateral. I joke here about them asking you for your firstborn. That probably wouldn't even get it done. They probably wouldn't see a lot of value in that. The point is, if they're asking you for you to sign over everything you own in collateral, that's a pretty significant risk. They don't care. I mean, they're giving you money on your collateral. They're essentially risk-free in the deal. And you're going after a startup that has all the other drawbacks we talked about. No guarantee of customers, sales, things of that nature. And it also takes a ton of time and attention away from what you actually want to be doing as an entrepreneur. Okay, you want to be running your company. Again, there's no guarantee after you go after all that financing at the end of that road that you actually come home with enough money to successfully, okay, keyword, successfully start your business. You'll probably come back with some money, maybe from some friends, family, a little bit on some credit cards, things like that. If you need a couple $100,000 to start up and you come back with $50,000, that's probably not enough to successfully start your business. We see it all the time. These ventures go in completely underfunded. They think they'll bootstrap and make it happen, and then it falls apart on them. It's really sad and tragic. Buying an existing, well-managed, profitable company is the remedy for each of these 5 problems in entrepreneurship. And it's the only strategy that we recommend for entrepreneurs here at the Institute for Business Acquisitions. If you haven't already, please join our free business buying support group here at facebook.com/groups/buyabusiness. Again, that's facebook.com/groups/buyabusiness. In that group, we discuss these topics and more, and we try to give you the assistance that you need to buy a successful business of your own. Again, that's all free. Facebook.com/groups/buyabusiness, or you can link to it back on our website at I4BA.com. Thank you very much for your time today. I hope you got something out of this video, and I hope to see you there in our forum. Have a great day.